On the news, police detain Yaya Bello's security aides. Okama residents sue army for right violation, seek 200 billion naira compensation. And Ayeda Atiwa, 15 others jostle for Ondo APC governorship ticket. It's a pleasure to have you join us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Okbayemi Owosheni. The police have detained a female police officer who was the aide-de-camp to the embattled former Kogi State Governor Yaya Bello over allegations of being part of the security aides that obstructed the arrest of the former governor in Abuja. The ADC was arrested alongside other police officers attached to Bello. They are being detained at the State Criminal Investigation Department in Abuja. The arrest and detention followed an order by the Inspector General of Police Olukayode Egbetokun directing their immediate withdrawal from the former governor. Recall that the Inspector General of Police had on Thursday directed the immediate withdrawal of all officers attached to Bello. The order for the withdrawal, which was contained in a police wireless message, followed the disappearance of Bello from his Abuja home after the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission besieged the residence. The anti-graft agency had also declared Bello wanted, urging Nigerians with useful information about his whereabouts to report to the nearest police station. To political matters now, the governor of Ondo State, Lucky Ayeda Atiwa, and 15 other aspirants on the platform of the All Progressive Congress on Saturday jostled for the party ticket for the state governorship election slated for November 2024. According to reports, no fewer than 1,071,922 delegates drawn from the 203 wards of the 18 local government areas of the state will take part in today's primary election. 16 aspirants will be jostling to clinch the ticket to become the APC governorship candidate in the state, including the incumbent governor. Ayeda Atiwa, who concluded his campaign tour in 3 council areas of Akoko Northwest, Akoko Northeast, and Akoko South on Friday, says that he still enjoys the support of the people of the state. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, says it has released $9 million to address humanitarian challenges within the region in 2024. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja over the weekend, the Commissioner for Human Development and Social Affairs, Fatou Sarr, explained that the quoted sum was basically for internally displaced persons, refugees, asylum seekers, as well as for communities that welcome them in all 15 countries. She further added that out of a fund of $25 million intended for the fight against terrorism in Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger Republic, ECOWAS has reserved $4 million for humanitarian affairs. She said ECOWAS emphasizes prevention, saying the regional bloc had a disaster reduction strategy and tools which allows it to monitor displaced populations and floods, anticipate problems, and better manage crises.
ECOWAS provides significant resources in the area of humanitarian affairs for displaced persons, migration, floods, and various forms of natural disasters. In 2023, for floods and nutrition cases, out of a total of 8.5 million persons affected, our organization provided support to half of the victims, representing 4 million people, and an amount of $12.6 million. In 2024, ECOWAS disbursed $9 million for internally displaced persons, refugees, asylum seekers, and the host communities, which is more or less the entire community. So all member states have benefited from this support, either as a country or as direct victims. ECOWAS allocated $1 million for stabilization efforts in Nigeria, and that is victims of terrorism, displaced persons, injured persons, rehabilitation, and strengthening community resilience. Out of a fund of $25 million, which was meant to fight against terrorism in Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Nigeria, ECOWAS reserved $4 million for humanitarian matters.
To security matters now, residents of Okama community, Delta State, have instituted a suit against the Nigerian army over an alleged breach of their fundamental human rights. In the suit filed before a federal high court in Warri on Thursday, the plaintiffs are seeking 200 billion naira as general and exemplary damages. On March 14th, a group of army personnel comprising a lieutenant colonel, 2 majors, 1 captain and 12 soldiers were killed in the community. Since then, there have been military operations in Okama in a bid to find the perpetrators. The plaintiffs are seeking an order from the court for the enforcement of the fundamental right to the dignity of the human person, right to a fair hearing, right to private and family life, freedom of movement and right of choice of place of residence, and right to own property of the applicant and residents of the Okama community. Meanwhile, Governor Sheriff Oborewori has visited the community, promising the safe return of the indigents who fled the community after the attack. The governor, accompanied by some government officials, reiterated that innocent citizens will not be made to suffer for what they know nothing about. Now, UNICEF Chief of Education in Nigeria, Sa'adna Pandey Sobrarian, has expressed great concern over the ongoing attacks on schools in Nigeria, spanning a period of 10 years. According to her, it is worrisome that despite the production of intelligence over the years aimed at setting up an early warning system to predict when the next attempt is imminent, it has not proven effective. Sahadna will disclose this in an exclusive interview with TV360 Nigeria, highlighted poverty as a primary factor impacting children's willingness to attend school. She also identified insecurity as a major reason affecting the students' perception of safety when going to school.
Part of this is to have regular data that begins to tell us what the picture looks like on school safety and the consequences of these attacks. And this is something that we really need to work towards closing in the country. And this is why we did this monitoring exercise, to understand what's happening on the ground with regard to school safety. So when we look at some of the reasons why children are out of school, poverty is one of the biggest factors. Social norms that don't support education is another. Poor quality teaching and learning, and very low domestic financing on education. But one of the features we find, consistently in the conversations that we have with children and with parents, it's insecurity. As soon as an attack takes place, no parent is going to be prepared to send their child to school. So no doubt these kind of attacks impact the ability of children to attend school, and the extent to which they feel safe to be at school. But more than that, it's not just about school attacks, it's about violence on the way to and from school. So we need to look at this more broadly when we talk about school safety and begin to address all the different components that make up school safety in Nigeria.
The Plateau State government has condemned the attack on Chikam, a community neighboring the Plateau State University in Bokos local government area, where 3 persons, including a student of the school, were killed on 19th of April 2024. According to the Plateau State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Musa Ashoms, the killing, which prompted protests by students, was saddening. The students of Plateau State University in Bokos went on a protest following the death of a 200-level computer science student of the institution who was residing in Chikam. But it took the intervention of security operatives to stop the protest. In the aftermath of the attack, the school's management declared a 2-day mourning and suspended all examinations scheduled for the period. Earlier, I spoke with Dennis Amakwe, former director of the Department of State Services, about the recent attack in Plateau State. I began by asking him what proactive steps would have been taken to prevent the attack.
Well, I think that Plateau State attack, the last one, is one attack too many. It has been so common since last December. And how do we stop it? There are certain things to do. Either the government can go ahead and effect the school security initiative and make sure that there are standby response teams, as well as, the physical security of those schools or that area that is affected. Because since the last attack, we've seen that the schools are bare. And then, of course, like one of the students was saying, the attackers were coming in from the back of the school where there are no fences. So these things have to be put in place. We cannot just be making political statements when these things happen.
So were there any apparent gaps or weaknesses in the security infrastructure that could have aided the attack on the university and previous ones in the state?
Of course, there is a serious security gap, just like I mentioned to you now. You know, the Safe School Initiative has recommended a lot of measures to be put in place. And when these measures are not put in place, even schools that have not been attacked, we are waiting for those things to happen, you know. So we need to keep those measures up to date, like fencing, no fence. And then, of course, the access to the school is not monitored. Anybody can drive in, drive out. And then, of course, militias are coming in from the back fence. So these are all gaps. There are policemen, or should I say, they said there were soldiers that are supposed to be on ground to, you know, watch after all these schools. But what happened? They were far away. And when it happened, the students were even demonstrating to them where they even have to use their arms, you know. So I don't think people are very, very aware of exactly what they are supposed to do in situations like this, instead of just being posted there and then they sit down and wait for the next attack to happen.
So now the UNICEF Chief of Education in Nigeria says that one of the reasons why school children are scared of returning to school is insecurity. What do you think the government can do to address this?
Plateau State situation is very unique because it is also having elements of ethnic and religious, you know, problems in the mix. So I think that the governor especially, we are not going to be talking about federal government this time. What is the governor doing? You know, we have a governor in that state. He should call the warring parties together, sit them down, and then talk with them and make some agreements. Let them sign so that when it happens, he should also have the political will to punish those people who broke that agreement. But we cannot just be playing politics. You call people to talk. The next time, you know, they breach that contract, and then you say that, oh, whoever does it will be dealt with, and nothing happens because they know that nothing will happen. So the governor has a lot of work to do.
That was Dennis Amakri, former director of the Department of State Services, speaking on the recent attacks in Plateau State. Moving on, the 9th Brigade Nigerian Army Ikeja Cantonment, under the command of Brigadier General Adegoke Adetuyi, has won the 81 Division Inter-Brigade Corporal and Below Competition 2024. The 5-day event hosted by the brigade came to its climax on Friday, 19th April 2024, with the physical fitness obstacle crossing. Speaking in an interview during the grand finale of the competition, the 9th Brigade Commander, Brigadier General Adegoke Adetuyi, expressed joy and satisfaction for hosting and winning the competition in grand style. He reminded the soldiers that they must continue to train so as to develop the required capability to handle every challenge thrown at them by the current security dynamics in the country.
In the last 4 days, we have witnessed teamwork, doggedness, dexterity, and professionalism displayed by all participants of the 81 Division Corporal and Below competition. The glamorous outing is no doubt a combination of hard work, discipline, and resourcefulness put in at various levels of preparations. Most importantly, purposeful training, which is the bedrock of military professionalism, was the catalyst to what we have witnessed during this competition. With this, let me remind all that we have to continue to train ourselves so that we can develop the required capability in our troops to handle every challenge thrown at them by the current security dynamics, which is characterized by volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity. Therefore, a just concluded competition is not only timely, but key in improving the combat readiness of our non-commissioned officers under 81 Division.
Today, as you could see, before this final closing ceremony, the men were also tested in obstacle crossing, which is also test of their fitness. After running about 2.5 kilometers before crossing the various apparatus of the obstacle. It shows also teamwork and also the endurance and the competence of the troops on the various crossing of the various apparatus.
We'll take a breather here, but coming up next on the news, Tunde Onakoya breaks world record for longest chess marathon. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Here's a quick recap of our top stories. Police have detained a female police officer who was the aide-de-camp to the embattled former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello over allegations of being part of security aides that obstructed the arrest of the former governor in Abuja. The ADC was arrested alongside other police officers attached to Bello. They are being detained at the State Criminal Investigation Department in Abuja. We also told you that residents of Okama community, Delta State, have instituted a suit against the Nigerian army over an alleged breach of their fundamental human rights. In the suit filed before a federal high court in Warri on Thursday, the plaintiffs are seeking 200 billion naira as general and exemplary damages. On March 14th, a group of army personnel comprising a lieutenant colonel, 2 majors, 1 captain and 12 soldiers were killed in the community. Since then, there have been military operations in Okama in a bid to find the perpetrators. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360Nigeria or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Uwabi App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. Still on business, economists have described the move by the federal government to allow indigenous refineries to buy crude in naira or dollars as a welcome development. The federal government on 15th April eventually complied with the demands of domestic crude oil refiners and other operators in the sector, as it declared that indigenous refineries can now buy crude oil in naira or dollars. Speaking in an exclusive interview with TV360 Nigeria, economist Akin Ogushola says once crude oil is purchased in naira, it will help in boosting the exchange rate of the naira. According to him, it's a cheaper alternative and it's more advantageous to Nigeria's economy.
Purchase of crude oil for local refineries in naira is a good idea. It's a welcome development, and I know that once crude oil is being purchased by local refineries in naira, this will help to boost the exchange rate of the naira, and the naira can now compete favorably even in the international market. So the purchase of crude oil in naira is a welcome development. In fact, that's what it ought to be. We are not supposed to ask local refineries to pay for crude in dollars. So I think that's the way forward. It will actually help naira to be more strengthened, and also it will help for easy calculation of arriving at the costs of production and also determining the sales of petroleum products in naira. So I think it's better for us. It's going to be cheaper for us, and it's more advantageous to Nigerian economy.
On the foreign scene, at least 10 people, mainly women and children, have been killed in Israeli air attacks on residential homes in Gaza's Rafah city. Israeli forces continue to raid North Sham's refugee camp in the occupied West Bank for a second day, killing at least 5 people, including a teenager, and causing worse destruction in decades. Iran's foreign minister says his country will respond to the maximum if Israeli adventurism continues, following reports of the shooting down by Iranian air defense batteries of 3 drones over Isfahan. Israeli forces have deployed more troops to areas adjacent to Rafah and destroyed agricultural land in the eastern areas of the district. The death toll in Israel from Hamas' October 7th attack stands at 1,139, with dozens of captives held in Gaza. And on sports, Nigerian chess master Tunde Onokoya has broken the Guinness World Record for longest chess marathon, surpassing the previous world record set at 56 hours, 9 minutes and 37 seconds by Norwegians Orvard Ogflathebor and Jo Feckenstad in 2018. Onokoya surpassed this record at 7:39 p.m., clocking 56 hours, 10 minutes since the chess marathon began at 11:30 a.m. on Wednesday, April 17, 2024. Onokoya, who teamed up with U.S. chess master Sean Martinez in a bid to set up a new world record of 58 hours unbeaten, extended the marathon to 60 hours to accommodate all interruptions. Following his triumphant victory, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has congratulated the Nigerian chess master for setting a new Guinness World Record for the longest marathon chess. Governor Sanwo-Olu, in a statement issued by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Gboyega Akoshile, said Onokoya's remarkable story shows that with determination, dreams can indeed soar to monumental heights. Governor Sanwo-Olu, while commending Onokoya for beating world Guinness records, said the journey of the chess master from Lagos, Nigeria to global recognition embodies the spirit of Lagos as a great city. Still on sport, Kenyan long-distance runner Shedrack Musoga has won the inaugural Premium Trust Bank Abuja City International Half Marathon with a time of 1 hour, 7 minutes and 58 seconds. South Sudan's Atalena Napule won the women's race in a time of 1 hour, 30 minutes and 23 seconds. The 21-kilometer road race took off at the iconic Abuja City Gate at exactly 7 a.m. with the Area 10 Old Parade Ground in Gariki the finish point. TV360's correspondent Emeka Amako filed in this report.
Over 50 athletes gathered very early in the morning at the Abuja City Gate, the takeoff point of the race. Among them, elite long-distance runners across the continent. All of them vying for a share of the over $20,000 prize money at stake. At the sound of the gun, they all poured forward. With the weather forecast for Abuja at 36 degrees, it was no surprise that midway into the race, the crowd had thinned out, leaving only the elite runners to slog it out under the scorching sun. Before long, the East Africans, who have always dominated long-distance races on the continent, took charge. But in the mix were some Nigerian athletes. Not surprising, Kenyan Shedrack Musoga was the first to cross the finish line. He would be followed shortly by Francis James, a Nigerian. Another Kenyan wraps it up in third place. In the women's race, South Sudan's Atalena Napule breasted the tape first.
We like the place, though it's very hot and we are not used to hot areas, but God protect us, we win it. We like Nigeria. Nigeria is a very nice place. The course was very standard. The security and the transport control was very nice. So we like the place, though it's the first edition, but it was very, very, very nice.
The courses was very nice, but the only weather is hot. Yes, it was very nice. I'm happy for it. This marathon, Abuja Marathon here in Nigeria, I'm so very great, guys, and be blessed, Nigeria.
Winners of both the men and women's races were awarded $5,000 each in prize money. The first and second runners-up received $3,000 and $2,000 respectively. And for being the first Nigerian to cross the finish line, second-placed Francis James got an additional 1 million naira. Main sponsor of the event, Premium Trust Bank, expressed satisfaction with the turnout, promising to sustain the tempo and make it bigger next year.
As part of what we are doing to mark our second year anniversary, we have put this together. I want to thank every one of you for coming. I want to appreciate all the runners, the participants from across different countries of the world that turned up for this event. I want to say that we hope that by this time next year, when we are having the second edition, a lot of records would have been broken.
It also marks the beginning of better things to come. Economy is picking up at a rate nobody ever expected. It shows commitment on the part of the president and his economic team. Banks are supporting. That is why Premium Trust Bank is so actively involved in this event.
For the organizers, the inaugural Premium Trust Bank Abuja City Half Marathon is poised to become a global sporting event.
Doing this in Abuja for us is timely because first, it's an international event. Secondly, it is happening in the capital city of Nigeria. We've had other marathons in Lagos and places like that, but we want to own this space. We want to not only, put this event together on a yearly basis. We want to also engender, the community spirit and want people to embrace, wellness and good health. So because part of what this marathon does is that it will help people to keep fit and it will help them also stay healthy.
For the first edition, it was fantastic. I mean, the city has kind of embraced this event, and the course was really, really good. And the next step is to get a label for this event so that they can move forward and elevate themselves to a whole different standard next year and the year beyond that.
A total of 57 elite runners, comprising 15 foreigners and 42 Nigerians, took part in the race.
And that wraps up our news bulletin on News Now at this time. Many thanks for joining us. I'm Okpeyemi Owosheni. See you next time.